What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Call or Facts TV, and it has been a massive week for us zombie fans as last Sunday began a marketing campaign which culminated in a nearly 5-minute long juicy cinematic for Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. We got a ton of setup for what this game's story will be like, including Kate Laswell and Task Force 141 coming together with Ravenov of all people for Operation Deadbolt, to fan favorite Modern Warfare villain Victor Sakayev returning as well with his own faction known as Terminus Outcomes, which is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. So roll the intro and let's get into it. On September 17th, the Call of Duty Twitter account tweeted out, "In this AO, you will need to be prepared for anything. The next mission begins," along with a number you could text for further intel. Looking at the image itself, we can see a map on the table and a journal with a very familiar looking logo, that being of the Omega Group. The bottom journal has a label that reads 1985 Omega Report. Looking further at the map, we can see a little circle around a couple of the buildings on the outskirts of this town, implying that not only is this group using the research of Omega, but that they are actively looking for something, and it might be where they have located on that map. And as for the intel for this first teaser, you can get a couple of things, including an image of a truck in the street and a message from Langley, presumably responding to this incident. Also, texting the word Requiem on the very first day would give you this image, which reads, "To all personnel, I am proud to announce that Requiem's primary objective has been met. The outbreak has been contained and those responsible taken into custody. Effective immediately, Requiem is dissolved. Please report to your supervisor for sanitation procedures and exit interviews. Signed, the director, on June 11th, 1985, 1 week after the events of Forsaken." This seemingly indicating to us that whoever this group is, not only do they have Omega research, but they also have Requiem research, which is huge. Jumping over to the second day, we got this tweet saying that trying to piece it all together, we're running out of time. Something is missing, with again the number you could text and one image, that being of a corkboard that has a ton of images from D Machina, Project N Station in Poland, as well as the images of the foreheads of Requiem, Strauss, Gray, Carver, and Weaver, as well as another little map with circles around buildings and whatnot. This group is actively searching for something in this area. We also have 2 post-it notes, one of which says, "If they are real, there will be no stopping us," signed with a Z, which we will come to learn is none other than Victor Zakayev himself. Another one saying, "We are a go tonight," signed by somebody named Fletcher. And with all this in mind, just from looking at these images, we can tell that this group, whoever they are, they don't just know a little bit about Omega or Requiem, they know extensively about what these groups were and the outbreaks that occurred back in the 40s and later in the Cold War. And whatever it is that they're looking for, they seem to be getting pretty damn close, because the image now has a ton of red X's, seeming like they are narrowing down their search, and they're coming closer to getting what they want. And once again, if you text this number on the second day, you can get Langley's response to this whole situation. We can see them trying to get Operation Deadbolt up and going, and we get 2 different images from Ravenov's personal files, seemingly indicating that the CIA is looking for him at this time in the modern day, which we'll come to see is true. That's exactly what they're doing. And on the third day, we got this tweet: "We have a job to do. People are counting on us. We only have one shot at containment," along with this image. And while there's not a lot here, we can see lockers which have the name Fletcher once again, as well as we can get a better look at this group, whoever they are. We can see their logo a whole lot clearer here. This would be the final day in the marketing campaign, as 1 hour after this tweet was posted, we got another tweet. "A undead onslaught approaches. Zombies infect the Modern Warfare universe for the first time in Modern Warfare 3. See the full 4-minute zombie cinematic reveal trailer." And this trailer is pretty damn cool. We also got a blog post which breaks down everything that we see in the trailer, which we will be getting into a bit later in this video. But for right now, let's go ahead and break through what is shown in the trailer. And as the trailer starts, we can see that it is from the perspective of this group that we have been following in the teasers, and they have seemingly found whatever it is that they're looking for, and they need to cause a distraction so that their main team can push in and get whatever it is that they want and get out. And as this is unfolding, we see them pushing into the building itself. One guy goes up and starts knocking on the walls to find a hollow spot, and as they do this, they put a charge on the door, blow it open, enter, and we see in this room, in this sealed room, which is important to note, I think, the mummified bodies of Weaver, Gray, Strauss, and Carver around this machine that they seem to be connected to. And as these men in military garb get closer, we can see that the machine opens up, revealing 2 vials inside, but that there are 4 slots, meaning that 2 vials are missing, and we do not know when they were taken. One of the men picks up a vial, and as he is removing his mask, it is revealed that this man is none other than Viktor Sakayev himself, and he exclaims, "They are actually real. They are actually here," showing that he is seemingly actually really surprised that this whole thing even exists. They secure the 2 vials and make their exit, but while they do, the cops show up. And as this is all unfolding around them, Zakayev's men seem to be able to hold their own at first, but reinforcements soon arrive and they begin taking casualties. They attempt to make a run for their vehicle so they can escape, but in the process, Viktor Sakayev is shot in the arm, and seeing that there is seemingly no way out, he takes a vial and tosses it like a grenade, running to the car, slamming the door shut as this vial explodes, necrotizing everyone in the area. And as this happens, we get a really cool, drawn-out shot of all these bodies reanimating. One of the men still in the area gets attacked immediately, while another zombie jumps on top of the car that Fletcher and Zakayev are in and begins to bash his head on the windshield. Fletcher looks on in terror, but Zakayev looks on eagerly with excitement, saying that we have found our weapon. And as they pull off, the scene fades into Soap, Kate Laswell, and Ravenov coming in on a helicopter, explaining Operation Deadbolt, and that they are here to contain the incursion that is happening as a result of what Zakayev did. So now that we broke down the trailer, let's go ahead and read the blog post and get the finer details, and then we'll start to get into my thoughts on what this whole thing means and who this group truly is, in my opinion. And looking at the blog post, it reads, "Welcome to Operation Deadbolt, introducing the lore of Modern Warfare's zombies. The zombies experience arrives in the Modern Warfare universe as a team of multinational operators assist the members of Task Force 141 against the vast undead hordes brought on by a second major enemy threat, the break-in. The scene opens on a squad of men in military garb about to conduct a nighttime raid on an unknown location. A familiar voice calls in support to distract the local police while the military unit moves up to breach the hotel building." So this is all really just recapping what we just saw. Let's move into the juicier parts. Exploring the lore. Until we know what's going on, containment is the name of the game. No one gets in and nothing gets out. Terminus Outcomes. We finally have our name for this group we have been seeing throughout the teasers and the trailer. In this iteration of zombies, there are enemies both undead and alive. The threat from the living arrives in the form of Terminus Outcomes, a private military company hired by Zakayev as muscle, led by one Jack Fletcher, the surviving soldier alongside Zakayev at the end of the trailer. The PMC makes no judgment on their clients, motives, or ethics. If the money is good, the job is on. We also got a little bit of insight on what Operation Deadbolt is. An emergency contingency plan put into action by the CIA. Operation Deadbolt was created in the aftermath of the outbreak events witnessed by Requiem operatives during the events of the Cold War. SSO Laswell is given the job of prepping the plan, placing SSO Selma Green on the ground as the de facto commander of the operation. When the team arrives at the exclusion zone alongside Soap and Ravenov, a few weeks have elapsed since the events shown in the trailer. As a member of the team, your operator joins other multinational operators to counter the threat posed by the exclusion zone, all running under the basic tenets of Operation Deadbolt. Nothing gets in and nothing gets out. So now that we have broke down and reviewed every single piece of available information we have about Modern Warfare 3 zombies, let's get into what I think, who I think Terminus Outcomes is. And to start things off, if we review some of this information, there's some contradictory things going on here. as the Terminus Outcome blog statement suggests that they are just a regular old PMC hired on by Viktor Zakayev. If the money is good, the job is on. Oh, we don't care. We're gonna, if you pay us, we'll do it. Which, as we can see in the teasers, is definitely not the case. They definitely do care about what Zakayev is doing. Also, speaking of Zakayev, in that trailer, he is super surprised that what is happening is real, that those files are there, that they exist, which in my opinion shows that not only does he not know what the fuck is going on in its entirety, but also that he is just there to get a weapon, which we almost immediately see is true as the very moment that things start to go awry, he uses these last known quantities of Ethereum on Earth, one of the last two vials, meaning there are only one left after this. He uses this as a fucking grenade. He tosses it to the wind, and judging by the look of shock and excitement on his face, I do not think he fully knew what throwing that and breaking it would do until he did it. But not only that, but somebody had to have been feeding him this information. And even in the face of what this blog is telling us, oh, they're just a random PNC that was hired by him, I think either indirectly or directly that Terminus Outcomes or members of it are the ones that are feeding him this information, because they have shown in the teasers that they have such a vast array of knowledge of everything that happened back in the Cold War and even back in the 40s. So how do they know all of this? And this line of thought and reasoning, now more than ever, has led me to believe that this group, this Terminus Outcomes, is none other than the Society Occult, Redacted Corp, whoever the fuck that 80 is working for during Cold War, which up until this point has been presented as this almost Illuminati-esque shadowy organization that exists out of the view of the public and has been exploiting the dark ether for wealth and power for the better half of recorded history. And not that it's concrete evidence, but something that was making me feel this type of way beforehand, before the teasers, before this trailer, was back whenever Dalek and them got flown out to play it or get presented, whatever they did. Dalek mentioned that Terminus Outcomes was after the last known quantities of Ethereum. That's how we know about that. And just the mere fact that they used the word Ethereum at all. You know, the Nazis back during World War II, they used the term Exo Element 1. Ethereum is really just this more involved name that you only get by either existing in the dark ether around entities that have been calling it that for a long time, or from groups like Requiem, where you have scientists who have been researching the dark ether for a while now. And something else that kind of keyed me off to this is the name itself, Terminus Outcomes. The Latin root of it is roughly final result, final outcome, you know? The final outcomes of what? Project Janus, perhaps? We really don't know, but these things I've listed here have really keyed me into the belief that Terminus Outcomes is in fact the Society Occult, or whoever Eddie is working for, and that they are either posing as a simple PMC, or perhaps in the modern day their group, either by what happens in 2024's game or something else, that they have been reduced to this small little remnant of what they used to be. We really don't know, and I'm not saying that that's what I personally believe is going on, but is a interesting thought process that I kind of came up with as I was looking over this whole thing. So yeah, Terminus Outcomes, a simple PMC group or an ancient demonic cult. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and as always, if you like this kind of content, please consider leaving a like and maybe even subscribing. And with that said, I will see you in the next one.